All right. I think that takes us to the end here, right? Last division is the NFC West,
Yeah, the weakest division.
the weakest
Save the weakest
division
for last.
in football. Yeah. All right. I This is probably one of my bolder predictions, just based on the betting market out here. But my bold prediction for the NFC West is that the Seahawks will win the division. So they currently have the third best odds behind the Niners and Rams. I think that Russ is going to cook and Pete is going to let him, and he will do it more effectively with Shane Waldron running that offense. I'm very encouraged by, I mean, the elements of the Sean McVay offense that he's going to bring, I think, are really going to, like I said, help Russ cook more effectively. It complements some of the things that he does really well, and will, and think in some ways force him to do some other things that will combat his weaknesses to some degree. But I think Russ is going to just absolutely pop in this offense this year. They finished first or second in this division every year since 2012. So maybe it's not super bold from that standpoint, but there's just all the money right now is on the 49ers and Rams. That's all anybody's talking about. And I think there is a last dance factor with these guys as well. I had mentioned that with Rodgers and the Packers, and that sort of propelling them to the NFC title. But I think that's kind of the case here with Russ. I think we've talked a bunch about how this isn't going away, and maybe this is kind of his last stand. He's like, all right, I'm going to water under the bridge. We're moving forward. Go Hawks, all that bullshit. Let's fucking ball out. And then, we'll end this thing the right way. And I truly feel that the Seahawks are being slept on like nobody's business right now in this division.
Well, I will give you my bold prediction is that this will be the first division to have 3 teams with 12 wins. So the Seahawks are included in that. No Cardinals shocker here, but I still do have them as the third of those 12-win teams. Tiebreakers aside, could potentially finish second. I'm back and forth between the Rams and the 49ers, only because I do believe the Rams have more talent. I think the 49ers are probably the better team, but the 49ers also have one of the luxury of a worse last place finish schedule. So they're playing the number 4 team from last year in all of the interdivision games. So that's why I give them the edge for first Rams, second based on talent, and then third Seahawks. But I mean, with a new offensive coordinator that's willing to make Russ happy, I can absolutely get behind that.
I also think the other key for me here is you mentioned sort of the reasons you can get behind these other teams. The Rams have the most talent. The 49ers have maybe the best team and maybe the best coach of all of these guys. The Seahawks have the best quarterback in that division, and that definitely means something. And there's a reason that their roster's been fairly mid for a few years now, and they've yet to finish below second in that division since Russ has taken over as the starter. So I think that I'm with you. I'm not saying this is a slam dunk that they're going to run away with the division. I think all 3 of those teams will be right there, and it's going to be a game or two, right, that ultimately decides who wins the division. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's the Seahawks.
Awesome. Well, I think we combined our bold predictions there again. So I'll give you one extra. Kliff Kingsbury takes over for Jeff Fisher as the epitome of mediocre coaching. If the Cardinals finish under 500 this year, that will be 8 straight seasons, college or pro, that Kliff Kingsbury has finished with a record no greater than 500. And this is, again, with the likes of Baker Mayfield, Patrick Mahomes, Kyler Murray. This is a dude that's getting shots for something that he ultimately doesn't deserve. And again, Jeff Fisher never had more than 7 straight seasons at 500 or below.
Wow. That is mind blowing. To be fair, I think they will finish under 500. I mean, I think their best case scenario in my mind, well, maybe not best case, but I think like high end when I'm looking at their schedule and everything is probably 8 wins, which puts them under 500 in the new 17 game format. So, wow. Okay. So do you think he gets fired then mid-season?
I think that this is one where he doesn't get fired mid-season, or at least he doesn't get fired till the end of the year. Just again to that consistency point that I talked about with the Zach Taylor firing, that there's really not a huge benefit unless you've got somebody in-house that you're ultimately trying to give an interim opportunity to get him out there early. I think that they're going to want to see what Kyler Murray can do, because there's going to be contract extension talks, just like, Baker Mayfield, no longer Josh Allen, but Lamar Jackson are going through. So they're going to want to see him in his best opportunity to succeed. And I think that mid-season, the season might be lost, but the evaluation of Kyler Murray is just as important to the GM as winning, losing, firing the coach.